idiot. Oh, it's squashing me. It's squashing me.
Hi guys, strange video today. There's a friend of mine, friends that has gone, friend of my friend that's gone missing. The person is like, well, obviously older than me. I don't know if they're in their 70s or 80s, and has had a few strokes apparently. And I think the local church group or whatever is looking for him. It's just it's a sad case. I can't really go into it for legal reasons because there is an ongoing case for something which I can't go. I might go into it in the future, but you know, I said to my friend, look, I've got really good intuition, and I can. You know, it's funny, I can't do anything for myself, but I can do things for other people. So the police are looking for him, and they can't find him. And I said to my friend, get in the car, show me his photo, if you can get in the car, and then I'll find him. She said, you can't find him, the police are looking for him. You know, he's elderly, he could be in a bush somewhere. I said, I've got intuition that tells me I can find things, I can. And that's the thing, when you've got ADHD, when there's chaos, when there's a situation whereby like there's a, I don't know, like a natural disaster or chaos, or there's lots of stress going around, you know, you kind of calm down because you're so used to this stress, so you're so used to this fast way of thinking, or not fast way of thinking, but lots of things going on in your head. So when normal people, there's a chaotic environment and things are going all over the place and there's chaos. For them it's really like very stressful. But for you, as a person who's got ADHD or neurodivergent, things seem to calm down, and you can actually be calm in that situation. And I tend to find that when there's chaos that doesn't involve me, like I'm not stressed out, you know, like my own chaos, other chaos, I tend to do really well. So there are people from the church looking for him, the police is looking for him, and it's like that bloody ADHD curse that you think you're better than everyone else. I mean, not in an egotistical way, no, I don't think I'm better. It's just like I said to my friend, don't worry, the police are looking for him, the church is looking for him. My instinct says to follow whatever vibe I have, and I'll look for him. Even though I don't know this area, I've never been here before, my radar, my inner radar is telling me, you look for him and you will find him. You know, he's been missing for a day or two, so he might be in some ditch or something. I pray he's not in any situation like that. I don't know this area. See, it doesn't make sense. I don't know this area. The police know this area. The churchgoers know this area, and yet I think I can find him. It's really crazy, you know. It doesn't make sense. But this thing here doesn't make sense. Where am I going to go and look for him? I don't know. Until I drive out there and start looking around, I won't know. All I know is that I have to try. And like even my friend, you know, she knows I'm bonkers, but she's seen me at work. She's seen me think about things that are not logical. And I come up with really good ideas, with like some kind of like really genius ideas, which seem genius ideas at the time. And then in the cold light of day, you know, yeah, they still seem like genius ideas, but they need that motivation, that to fuel, you know, whatever tasks and actions you need to perform to actually do the thing that you were thinking about, or the project or whatever it is, business or whatever. You have to physically do the stepping stones. You have to take those steps, do those tasks. I'm good at really generating ideas, but then the ideas don't get done. Well, anyway, so now I wish I could talk about the case, but I can't. But what I'll do is I'll talk about another person. It's got nothing to do with this at all. Yeah, so there was a bloke, right, who has met, as many of us men, especially if we're separated from our wives, the females. It's usually the females. I want to be equal and say, oh, it's the boys, but it's actually the girls. They end up going woke, or end up going the feminist way, and even forgetting about their dad. Some good women out there will say, oh, well, they're bad girls. Well, I wouldn't even say that. I think that women nowadays, especially young women, are so brainwashed. It's like, what do you mean brainwashed? They are influenced by woke culture. Maybe not all woke culture is bad, especially like the original meaning of woke, and like black people fighting for rights or not being discriminated against. Okay, right, fair enough. Like, I will agree with you to that point, okay? But then after that, woke means something else now. It just means the obliteration of the traditional family, obliteration of men, because men are like, the patriarchy has to be destroyed. So when you look into it more deeply, it's an obliteration of our culture, our society. Our traditions. Culture, society. Men being the leaders of the family. Oh, heaven forbid you fucking say that. Like, a man can be a leader. No, fucking misogyny. All these ideas start creeping up. Oh no, I mean, I'm not a very manly man. Just because I've got this bloody beard, I'm gonna take it off soon. Don't worry. But women who see this might say, "Oh, it looks manly." Well, because they can't grow a beard. Apart from some of those Sikh women, I've seen those Sikh women on. It looks really scary. They've got an actual beard. Bloody hell. Maybe women, or some of those Asian women, like Pakistani or whatever, can actually grow a beard, but they shave themselves down. Shave off that beard. And this lady, I've seen this lady let her beard grow. She's got like the turban, and looks like a man. I mean, you can see her eyes she's a woman, but yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, but for some men, like, it's difficult to be the man. I found it really difficult growing up. Having to be the man. For some of us, it's not easy, and I'm sure there's many men that act like the man, very manly and masculine, but deep down they're in pain. They're having to. I mean, for me, what does it mean to be a man? Well, I've got the certificate of being a man. That's it. I'm a man. The last time I checked, I'm a man. Yeah, that's it. That's all you need. Oh, you have to be the provider. Yeah, you have to be. Not nowadays. Not anymore. You can't have your cake and eat it. You get some woke women saying that, like, they buy into all this woke stuff and equality and feminism and stuff like that. But when they search for a man, the man has to make more than them, has to be taller than them. You see, okay, not all women. All right, not all women. I'm not talking about you. You might be a good lady, but I better go. I better shut up. Speak to you guys in a bit.
2 hours later.
Hi guys. Hi guys, today I'd like to talk to you about kind of maybe, sorry about that, controversial subject. Yeah, so I don't know how to start this off. Well, I'll get straight to it. Go straight into the story. So there's this guy, old geezer, older than me, like maybe 70s or 80s, something like that. Basically, he's accused by one of his family, maybe a daughter or something. Yeah, one of his daughters, I think, or his daughters, of some kind of offence, I think it's abuse or something like that. And he had to go to court, and now he doesn't want to go. He's absconded or whatever, and the police are after him. Now this bloke, I don't know if he's got mental health problems, strokes, heart attacks, like high blood pressure, diabetes. God knows, he's got lots of problems. So also, if he's had strokes, he's not in his right mind as well. It affects the brain. Yeah, this bloke either is trying to avoid, obviously he's trying to, maybe he's stressed out, he's tried to avoid this situation. Yeah, the stress has gotten to him, and he's either, bailed out of a life or bailed out of the situation. It's just too much for him. Now, I was just thinking about this story. It's based on a true story, something that's going on. A friend of a friend, And this guy, he's, he attends church. He's part of church, a church group, and he's been part of the church group for years. And he's a nice man and everything. But apparently he's accused of abusing, like his daughters, now they're grown up, they're accusing him, or one of them is accusing him of abusing them when they were younger. Now, I don't know any information. I don't even know if it's that kind of abuse, or if it's like physical abuse, or mental abuse, some kind of abuse. Now, it could be the case that maybe he's guilty and he did do that, and then, as I keep saying, your conscience follows you around. It's not as if you can run away from God. You can't run away from your conscience. You can run away from people. Deep down in our conscience, we know the difference between right and wrong if we did something wrong. So I'm saying, if he did something wrong, his conscience, would be prodding him, and he'd be, maybe that's why he had heart attacks, strokes, diabetes, whatever. You end up maybe feeling that you don't deserve good health, or you might engage in behaviors, smoking, drinking, junk food, not doing any exercise. You might think you're not worthy of life or whatever, and the self-deletion happens slowly, if you know what I mean. Or what I heard was that he came into some money recently, last 2 or 3 years or something, maybe 4 years, 4 or 5 years, something like that. His parents passed away, so he inherited money. And during lockdown, obviously nothing could be done. Now lockdown's over, suddenly his daughter or daughters are pressing charges or accusing him of abuse, so they can get this maybe. Why didn't they? So if he is really, guilty of abuse, why didn't they do this earlier? They did this after he inherited his parents or their grandparents' money. That's strange, isn't it? So on the surface, to me, it looks like they want money. They want to, even if it means ending his life, obviously they don't get on, and accusing him of something. Now let's say it's like physical abuse. No, maybe I don't know. Bloke comes back home from work angry with the kids. Maybe makes a mistake. Maybe pushes one of these children down the stairs, and the child hurts their leg or their foot or something. And then says, "I'm sorry." He knows he did wrong. Back in the day, like, he wouldn't have been prosecuted back in the 70s, 80s, or whatever. But now that's classed as abuse, or I don't know. Let's say an unthinking, a really insensitive person would say, "Oh, you fat oaf, get out of that couch, that sofa. Come on, fatso." Maybe saying that to a girl or a child, is really rough. But some of our parents used to speak like that. Now that would be considered abuse. So I wonder whether it's historical abuse, abuse that kind of was allowed back in the day. It was frowned upon, but it wasn't a crime. Whereas nowadays it's a crime. So I wonder if you can actually go back and then accuse and prosecute someone of historical sins. Could you imagine? Imagine all those like 1970s comedians. I'll tell you, they're all like racist. Bernard Manning, and well, he's passed away, but Jim Davidson, they would be accused. They would be accused of racism, sexism, everything. Because, back in the day you can say those things, and now it's considered an offense, and it's an offense. And so that's what I'm wondering, whether these, because nowadays these young girls, they're brought up with this woke femi-Nazi, Me Too. Yeah, people talk about the Me Too thing. Yeah, I agree. Any man that does anything bad to a woman like that, the R word, should be prosecuted. But any woman that accuses a man of the R word, he goes to jail, and then they find out it's fake. She should go to jail for fucking life, because it's a terrible crime. And to falsely accuse someone of that terrible crime, if it's a woman, you should go to jail, because otherwise people, like, women won't be believed. If you get cases where it's an actual lie, then that's disgusting, really disgusting. But in the cases where it happens and the women aren't believed, that's also disgusting, So, I agree, that's bad. Yeah, but in this woke kind of society, this feminist kind of society, we're all equal. You're not all bloody equal. Some are more equal than others. I wonder if they can go back and, be offended, when they grew up, they were offended because their father said something bad to them, like, go out and work, or I don't know, stop putting too much makeup on, or, at the age of 16, I don't know, Daisy or whatever. Daisy, I don't think it's a good idea going out till 3 o'clock in the morning, having these love blights. You just look like a and then they think back, they think, my dad was a bastard. He was a misogynist. This is all part of the patriarchy. They get all brainwashed nowadays with all this stuff. And so maybe these women, these women or whatever, you can't call them women, how can you do that to your father? Basically, they're sending him over the edge. He's on he's fragile, like mentally and physically, and he's on the tipping point, and they're doing it for money. That's what I think. I think they're just doing it for money. How can you do that for money? And apparently this guy doesn't have a lot of money, maybe 100 grand or something. Is it worth 100 grand to get your dad, your own father? So that's why these guys are, that's what they are. They deserve that word. That word shouldn't be used, but they deserve that word. How can you do that to your own father or your own mother? Well, anyway, yeah, it's a sad story. I was out looking for him, in the area where my friend lives, because I thought, oh, he might be locally, he might be there. Went to the house, knocked on the door. I didn't put any of my fingerprints. I just knocked like this, and went round the back, and then the police arrived. And they asked who I am. I said, yeah, well, I'm part of the church group, and we're looking for this guy. And they said, oh, he won't be here. He'll be where the court case took place, which is further away. Now it's been a few weeks. He's gone missing. Where the fuck is he going to go? Old man, like, he's got all these problems. It's freezing. He's probably going to be found in a ditch or God knows where, if he hasn't come back. I mean, hopefully, like, touch wood, he's got a friend somewhere, and he's, I just say, hold up, he's hiding somewhere. I know women are going to not like this, but what if he is guilty, right? If he's guilty, maybe he touched one of his daughters inappropriately, let's say. But even that can be construed. It can be seen either way. Say, for example, he touched his daughter on the bum when she was 16, and he said, I don't know, if he said something like, "Oh, you got a nice bum," or something like that. Now later on, that daughter might think that's sexual abuse. That's abuse. You know, when maybe it wasn't. I remember one guy, he used to live in our place, you know, as a lodger. He's an Italian guy, and he had a bald head, and he had a ponytail in the back. He used to wear his baseball cap the other way around, the white baseball cap. So I thought he had loads of hair until he took his baseball cap off, and he looked silly. And he used to tell me, well, he talked about other things, but one thing stuck in my mind, that he used to have a bath with his daughter up till she was 6. So imagine his, like, everything dangling there and hairs and everything, and his daughter would have a bath with him. I think 6 is really too late. You know, like, even like 3 is too late. You know, like maybe a baby, a dad could have a bath with a baby, a girl, but the age of 6, that could be classed as abuse. Like, she can turn up one day and said, my dad used to have a bath with me up till I was 8 or whatever. Yeah, it affected me in my life. You know, the dad might be innocent, might be a Burke, an idiot, but could be doing something innocently. I mean, he was saying, well, why not? There's nothing wrong. Only up till 6. Yeah, well, I don't know about that. But it seems to me that now he's got these health problems, and he inherited just recently the money a few years ago, and now they are like prosecuting. They sent him to court for abuse, like historic abuse. Why didn't they do this before? So basically, they're trying, you know, people in the church, they're trying to, the group or whatever, they're trying to find him, but they say that the daughters are doing it out of just greed. They want money. They want the money. Bloody hell, that's horrible, you know, doing that to your father. How can you do that? Why didn't they think about this 5 years ago, 10 years ago? They have to think about it now. So they must be in their 30s or whatever, or 40s. Why didn't they think about that 20 years ago? Because 20 years ago, this wasn't around. There wasn't much of an incentive. And they can say what they want. They can say what they want. This guy has lost it. The Me Too movement is, you have to believe the woman. What if these two women, they're trying to get the money from the dad, you know? I don't know. So that's a strange story. It's a horrible predicament to be in. So, yeah, the police are looking for him now. Yeah, the police ask, who are you? And I said, yeah, Good Samaritan. Yeah, that guy from E17 with this bloody, I had this Batman woolly hat on and this massive puffer jacket with a beard. I'm, what's his name? I don't know his name. The guy from E17, his older brother, his bigger brother. Yeah, so, yeah, there was another story. This is a more, subject is a bit more controversial, but I'll just say it. I saw it on the news. There was one guy, he's a not teenager, in his 20s or something. Now, a lot of people have different views about this. So some will say he did a good thing, some will say no, he didn't do a good thing. So what happened was, apparently his father, maybe in his 60s or 70s or whatever, 60s maybe, has some child porn photos maybe, or videos apparently, or some probably images on his computer. And what he did is he put his dad in it. He told the police, and the guy got arrested, maybe went to prison, I'm not sure. And everyone's hailing him as a kind of a hero. Like, oh, you did really well, outing your dad, putting your dad in it. And I think, I don't know, my views might be controversial, but if it was my dad, how can you put your dad in it? Now, okay, I'm not saying that what he allegedly did, put that stuff on his computer and watch that stuff. You can't justify that, right? Because then you create a demand. If you download this stuff, maybe, I don't know what they do, download it or whatever, you create a demand for it, and you're part of the problem. That said, I couldn't see myself like putting my, like being a traitor to my dad or my mum, to a parent. I would talk to my dad and say, listen, I found this on your thing, Dad. Come and get some therapy or something. Otherwise, I'll have to tell a social worker or someone. I would try and scare my dad. But he's your dad. How can you just go to the police? He's going to be screwed for the rest of his life. He won't be able to get a job. He won't be able to... It will affect him. It's a bit like the guy, I think it was the Spanish guy. He's like the head of the FA or something. I think it's the Spanish football team. They won the World Cup or something like that. And he kissed one of the captain, I think, or one of these, the lady players. And he kissed her on the cheek. He held her and he kissed her on the lips, I think. And Italians and Spanish, they use their hands and they hug each other. They kiss you on the cheek. You kind of do that. It's a thing that they do. But because he was so happy that Spain won, he went a bit overboard and he kissed her on the mouth. Just kissed her like that. He held her, and he was just really happy. Or maybe he was just horny. Maybe he just liked that woman, and he did it in front of everyone. He went a bit overboard. But now she's accusing him of assault, SEXUAL, assault. And there's going to be a court case or whatever, and in Spain there's those feminists that are saying, yes, he should be arrested, he should go to jail, and the other people saying, well, it was a mistake what he did, he's already lost his job. But this guy, if he gets jailed, he'll be on a sex offenders list, right? He's screwed for the rest of his life. He's going to be unemployed. He's not going to be employable, not in Spain. He's going to have to do some rubbish job. And he was the head of the FA or some kind of association. Now, I'm not condoning what he did. What he did was stupid. It was I don't agree. He should get some kind of punishment. But for the rest of his life, he's going to be punished just because, it's seen as aggressive, and it's seen as, yes, it is. And it's just stupid what he did. Now, the women will be saying, he should be punished for the rest of his life because this is male, male aggression. Fair enough. But let's say if it was the other way around. Say there was a lady, the head of the women's FA or whatever, and the male team won, the Spanish team, won the World Cup, and she went and kissed a player on the lips. What would have happened? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because the other way around, he could have said, this is abuse, and people would have laughed at him. Because a woman kissing a man is okay, even in public. It doesn't matter. But a man kissing a woman, then it's abuse. It's what he did is stupid, absolutely stupid. But if I was the woman, I would feel, upset a little bit if I didn't if I didn't want him to kiss me. But I would understand that it's just in the heat of the moment, you know, and would have forgiven him. But again, a lady knows that she can get this. And because we live in this age of like, people get offended. And then, but with that offense, it comes a financial incentive as well. You know, people getting sued for just saying the wrong thing. No one could sue me because I got no bloody money. I'm in debt. Well, technically, anyone could be sued, I suppose, but I know the bollocks. You know, why don't people just forgive each other? If someone comes and stabs you, like they get for not minor offences, but for certain offences, you're gonna get into deep shit. But if someone came to stab you, wanted to kill you, you know, or they said, I'm going to kill you, or showed, that for me is threatening. It's threatening my life. It's making my blood pressure and my heartbeat go up. You know, that's offensive to me. What's offensive to you isn't offensive to someone else. Yeah. It's because it's politically incorrect. That's why it's offensive. Anyway, I won't go into that. What are you talking about? Well, certain offences now, historical offences, you know, how can you judge people on the woke standards of today? How can you go back and say, well, this person was sexist, racist, or was abusive? You can't, can you? If you judge them by the standards of today, but you can't, because it was a different world. It was a different time. So I don't know what's happening to this guy, this old geezer. Hopefully he's still above ground, as it were. He's still alive. But yeah, who knows? Yeah, the child corn case and the son. I mean, that's a traitor. To me, that's a traitor. You know that. What would I have done? I would have talked to my dad and said, look, this is wrong, Dad. I love you, but you should go and see a psychologist, or, you know, it's wrong. Get some help. Instead of him fucking going to jail. How can you do that to your dad? Like, you must have no love for your dad. Yeah, those things are bloody horrible and they should be stamped out. But what's the point of bringing him to prison? What is it going to solve? You might get worse in there. And then doing that to your father. I don't know, at which point would you put your father in the shit? It's controversial, but I'm saying there's probably no point. If my dad murdered someone, I still wouldn't put him in the shit. Unless he murdered a child or did the R word. If it was in self-defense and nobody knows about it, it's difficult. It's really difficult. Because that's your dad. If he did some kind of, like, defrauded the government, I'd say, yeah, good. If he, I don't know, it's very difficult because that's your dad, you know. It's difficult to put your dad in it. It's an Italian family, a Sicilian family, you know, you won't put your dad in it. You know, you'd be a traitor. You'd be seen as a traitor unless he did something really, really, really bad. And what this guy did wasn't horrible, and that dad has to live with it, you know, downloading images like that. But if I was a son, you know, I'm more like, I was brought up in the UK, and I would say to my dad, you know, but look, come with me. I'm going to take you to a doctor and we can talk about this, you know, confidentially, get rid of all that stuff. I don't know. I don't take that moral, is it called the moral high ground? Morally, I make mistakes. Yeah, maybe that mistake is much worse than mine, but I don't feel like I'm any better than anyone else. So I'm not on a pedestal and I can say to that man or that woman or whatever, you done something wrong. I think the person knows that they did something wrong. It's a difficult situation anyway. What was the other one? The Spanish guy. Yeah, he's going to be screwed for life. If he goes to jail, wouldn't he be on some kind of sexual register? Just because he, like, in public, he kissed the woman. He didn't grope her. He just kissed her on the cheeks and he hugged her. Stupid mistake. And I think he's apologized to her. But they said, oh, he didn't really mean it. Yeah, maybe he's an idiot. He's a Burke. But come on. It's just exaggerated. If he goes to jail for that, you go to jail for that. He's already lost his job. He's in trouble. You know, he's not going to. But if he goes to jail, he'll have a record. And in no way of his fan. I don't know him. He looks like a Burke. You know, for what he did, he's a Burke. yeah, there I go. I'm judging him, but I'm just saying to all those feminists, and I'm not in his side. I'm just, what he did was wrong. But these feminists or people, feminazis, don't you have any compassion? Do you have to like grill all men and take every opportunity to like destroy men? Like these feminazis or whatever, they must have daddy issues. They must really hate their dads. That's it, isn't it? They've got daddy issues. They don't love their dad. When I talk about certain stuff, people say, "Oh, yeah, misogynist." Some women and some those manginas. Those men. Those white knights. But I believe I'm not a misogynist. Why? Because on a fundamental level, I love my mum. Always love my mum. When a child grows up, the first few years, 5, 6 years or whatever, they make up like their view of the world is based on their parents. Their parents are the authority figures, and so your mother and your father are the world. And so I believe that I love my mother, and so on a fundamental level, I love women, or at least there's no hate for women. There's no fundamental hate for women, But some of these women who hate their dad, there's a kind of on a basement level. There's a problem in the basement there. That's like it's all full of mold and it stinks or whatever. There is a problem there in their foundation, in their psyche of how they feel about men. If you hate your father, more than likely you're going to hate all men or most men. There's always going to be a problem with a man. Oh, he's got this, he's got that. I think it's true, because like the problem I found with women is it's not because I hate them fundamentally. I mean, I love women. Otherwise, I'd be gay. If I hated women fundamentally, on a that ground level, that how do you say? I'd be gay, or I wouldn't. I say a joke. The joke that I always say is that I'm not against women. I'm not against them enough. If you know what I mean. Yeah, some people are going to be thinking, "What do you mean you're not against them enough?" Yeah, okay, listen to it again. What I said. It's actually a joke. Yeah, so I really like women. They're beautiful. For me, in my eyes. But the women that I've had have screwed me over, and they always want this. Always. It's okay if they want this, but they give, something back, if it's worth it. But usually it's not worth it. How did I get to this point talking about women? Anyway, so I think that's how, like you men out there, that's how sometimes you can tell. If you have a girlfriend or that hates her dad, you better fucking run for the hills. Because there's no way you're going to be loved more than the dad. Yeah, initially you will, but then she's going to find cracks and problems in you that she found in her dad, that she finds in all men. Anyway, that's the end of the bloody lecture today. End of the rant. Yeah, so that's what's going on. Like, we're looking for this old guy in the local area, but now, obviously, he's not going to be there. He's somewhere. I can't really say where, because the police really didn't tell us much anyway. But the police, judging by the way he was talking, he actually believes the daughters, oh, we're looking for him. And then we said, but he's had strokes and heart problems and dementia. No, not dementia, not sure, but diabetes. Like, he's fucked up. And then he was saying, oh, sometimes people make up these things, in order not to escape prosecution or whatever. And either he didn't know too much information about the case, or maybe he's trying to like dig for information. Unfortunately, he's too young, to pull the wool over our eyes. I don't know what the word is. And also this guy has gone to hospital he's got proof that he's had strokes, heart attacks, diabetes. So there's proof there. Obviously, it's just a bobby that's just been sent to the house to have a look at stuff. I just pray that this guy is found. I pray that his life is worth living, Imagine being accused by your daughters. And I know all too well. Like, I love my daughters, but in this woke world, you have to be careful. If the mother is good and the mother is clever and she knows she knows about like a little bit about psychology, child psychology, she'll bring those kids up and those kids won't hate the dad. But if she doesn't know how to, or she's mean, then those kids, especially girls, can end up hating the dad. So I remember with like my own daughter, when my dad passed away, she just, after 4 days, I told her I was the S word, self-delete, the deletion vibe. I was hugging trees, I was crying in the haystack, calling for my dad, because no one hugged me. Because my wife, it's not her fault, you know, she's as cold as ice. She's not that huggy kind of tactile person. And I felt so alone. So she knew this, nothing. Just contacted me for a few days. And then, yeah, even before my dad was in, you know, under the ground, she contacted this is my daughter, from a previous relationship in London. She contacted the parlour to try and get the death certificate. And of course they're going to tell me, aren't they? So they told me, and I kept quiet, and I just sent her a message. I said, look, listen, I know what you did. I didn't get angry with her, didn't use the F-bomb or anything like that. Never contacted me until 3 months later, when my wife told the Italian consulate, I think a few months later, told the Italian consulate that, you know, gave the death certificate, because you have to do that. And so they know. Within 2 days, such a coincidence, within 2 days, I get a phone call from Sicily, from the bank where my dad used to, where my dad has a bank account, a joint bank account with me, which is about £5 or something. They were trying to get, they couldn't get money out, her and her mother. And so they contacted me and they said, oh, Gerald, we're trying to get money out of the account. There's money in it for you as well. No shit, it's my fucking joint account with my dad. What do you mean there's money in it for you? I said, yeah, about £5. So then I said, oh, okay, well, my dad must have changed the policy, because he promised her some money, I think £2,000 or something, and it would have gone up in time, maybe £5,000, £10,000. That's what they were hoping. But yeah, they're scroungers, maggots. Maggots is the only bloody word. That's a nice word. I'm not going to use the S word. Maggots. How can you do that to your father or your mother? I wouldn't do that. For what? 10 grand, 20 grand, you know? And then they have, when they find their man, you're nothing anymore. You're nothing. You know, the problems I had with my daughter, the conversations I had with her are just sickening, you know? Because you love that person, you know? Deep down, you still love that person, but that person's so fucked up. One day, because she's engaged to be married with a Sikh guy. He's okay. He's all right. I mean, he's not a bad person. But I would like her to get married to a white guy or an Italian guy or something. But, I mean, she's not white. She's half white and half kind of Indian, whatever her mum is, you know, like Guyanese, sorry. I say whatever her mum is because the Guyanese, they don't like blacks, they don't like whites, they don't like Pakistanis. They're a tiny kind of, and that's okay, you know. So that's why I said whatever her mum is. I can say that about myself, whatever I am. I don't know what I am. Not English, not Italian, not Spanish. I don't know what the hell I am. I'm an alien race. Yeah. Yeah, but so, yeah, I think once she said something like white people stink, you know, gammon or something like that. I thought, what the fuck is that? And I said, what do you mean white people stink? Because I was saying, why do black people wash every day? Like, wash and change like, have a t-shirt every day, a new t-shirt. That's so fucking expensive. It's not good for the planet, is it? So she was saying, yeah, but white people, you know, when you go around them, you sniff them, they smell. And I said to her, You know, that sounds so fucking racist. You know, back in the day, in the 70s, like, us whites used to say that about blacks. Look, they stink, you know, or, you know, like you go into an Indian person's house, it smells of curry. Words like that are kind of racist, right? So you wouldn't say that anymore. But what you get nowadays is a reverse racism. Not black people, but not all black people, but let's say minorities or whatever, say that about whites. And they say it openly because they know nothing's going to happen to them. So like she was saying to me, but you know, whites, they smell because they don't have a bath, they have a bath once a week or whatever. And I said to her, don't you realize that part of you is white and you're saying that to yourself? Because I said, I'm white. She said, yeah, you're not really white though. I said, what do you mean I'm not really white? What am I, off-white? She said, yeah, but you're Italian. I said, that just shows the diversity of the white tribe or whatever. You've got people in Scandinavia, they've got green, blue eyes, blonde hair. You've got people in Greece that are quite really dark. We have diversity in Europe, you know. It's not just like, I don't know, a certain person is white. You know, you have bright white, off-white, olive, whatever. And that's one thing I never understood. You know, when they're looking for someone, you know, like the police, they say a person with olive skin. Now, the last time I checked, olives are either black or green. How can you have olive skin? Like Mediterranean people, like olive skin. We don't have olive skin. Yeah, a bit dark maybe. Fucking olive. Like a dried up fucking prune. Dried up olive, black olive. Olive complexion. Olive is blacker than even black people. That's like jet black. Mediterranean appearance. IC1. Is it IC1, IC2, IC3? Yeah, I see you, right? Yeah, I see one, yeah. Yeah, and that also shows a lack of respect for me as a father, saying that, you know, oh, white people, because she's found her man, and her man is a Sikh, and she lives in that environment with Sikh people, Sikh food. Fair enough. And Sikh people, I thought, were quite, you know, loyal to the British and stuff like that. But obviously, they see themselves as non-white, and so, you know, people don't integrate at all. All this bollocks about integration, they don't integrate. Like even Italian people don't integrate, but because Italians are Christian and white, off-white, or olive skin, you know, it's easier for us to adapt. If there's a war or something, we're going to side with a Christian country, with people that, you know, that have our same kind of genetics, you know. Anyway, forget about race and stuff like that, politics. But the thing is, yeah, all she wanted was money, and she hasn't contacted me since because she knows she's not going to, there's none of this. This has happened to me, it's happened to lots of fathers, maybe less so with mothers. Yeah, when you become older, you become dispensable. That's really sad, you know, because I never did that to my parents. I looked after them till my parents were old. Not with my mum, because she passed away young when she was 68. I don't understand how people can be so brainwashed and not love their parents, unless, you know, their parents like really did something bad to them, hurt them. And, you know, my parents weren't even my biological parents. And maybe that's why I love them more. Because they didn't have to choose me. They chose me and they loved me. Maybe they loved me more than if I was theirs. But I was theirs, you know. I tell you, I'm no better than anybody else, but I don't understand why you can't love your mum and dad, especially if they treat you good, you know, and you believe in this woke, this fucking wicked world, the media and all the bollocks that you learn in university and stuff, and then betray your parents, you know. I can understand when you're a teenager, you think, oh, your parents are uncool and stuff like that. But as you get older, you start to realize, yeah, your parents were actually fucking right about many things. you know? And they're your rock. They're the people that looked after you as a child and still are there, you know? And then when you become a parent, you realize how fucking difficult it is when your own kids, like, move away from you. You know, you're not cool anymore. So anyway, I'll speak to you guys another day. Sorry, I've been babbling on again for a long time. Yeah, so what do you think of that story, that old guy and those 3 stories? Then the young man who felt so good about, you know, betraying his dad. Some of you will agree with him, and I know why, but yeah. And then that guy in Spain, I don't know. You can see it both ways, I suppose, but ruining somebody's career for the rest of his life for just a kiss that he gave a woman. Didn't snog her, didn't grope her. He was just so excited. And yeah, he should be punished, but if he goes to jail, then for the rest of his life, that's a fucking harsh. That is really harsh, because if it happened the other way around, that woman wouldn't be going to jail. Well, it's different. Why is it different? Isn't it supposed to be equality? That's not equal to me. Well, it's different because he's got a thing and she hasn't got a thing. Well, it's not equal then. Yeah, okay, well, say it then. We're not equal. You know, there is a difference, right? See, in some areas, you want equality. But in other areas, you don't want equality. You want superiority. It doesn't work that way. Well, it does work that way, actually. What if it was your daughter? If it was my daughter, I would say, punish him. You know, he's already ridiculed. He's lost his job. You know, if he pays like compensation, I don't know, $10,000 or whatever, that's enough. That's enough. Not to persecute him, like, and send him to jail or something like that. I mean, that's fucking ridiculous. Really. I mean, what he did doesn't warrant going to jail. It's just too much of a punishment. Oh, okay. Anyway, don't worry. I'm going to get rid of this soon. Yeah. So, what do you guys think about that? See you guys. Signing off from Norfolk. It's a grey day, cold, wet, not so windy. Okay. Love yourselves, and don't make any mistakes like that guy did. Don't kiss any women when you're excited or pissed or whatever. I was just thinking, that old man. Let's say he did something bad. He sexually, you know, touched his daughters or something like that. Because I can't think it was anything really bad, because otherwise they would have mentioned it a long time ago. Only now that he's come into money, they're mentioning it. Maybe he's been part of these groups and became religious because he wanted forgiveness. If God forgave him, who are we to say, you know, like, oh, not forgiven? Unless he did something really, really bad. Like if he touched inappropriately his daughters, you know, and then maybe that's why his conscience has destroyed him all these years. He's thought, oh, I shouldn't have done that, you know. But he's asked God for forgiveness, and he's part of these groups, these church groups, goes to church, and he's a reformed or changed person. Or maybe it's just some physical abuse. Maybe he just slapped one of his daughters, like back in the day, like, I want to go out with my boyfriend and stay all night with him and shag. That definitely would have happened in a Sicilian family, in an Italian family. I'm not listening to you. Who the fuck do you think you are? But my parents never slapped me or anything. I was too scared of my dad. He just has to raise his voice. Jada! And that's it. I would fucking be scared. You know, he never hit me. He didn't have the opportunity because just his voice would frighten me. I could feel it in my fucking toenails when he shouted. He had such a deep voice. A sharp voice, like really piercing voice. So anyway, sorry guys, you might have been listening. I shouted you, I might have woken you up. All right, speak to you guys another day. Love yourself, love each other, and look after your body and mind. And yeah, your finances, and I don't know, that's it. Speak to you guys another day. Bye.
10 seconds. Stabilizing. Hibernation activated.
All the things we